Yo, let me bring your awareness to how limited you are truly thinking. You are having a super duper limited thinking about yourself, of what you would be able to achieve, what you could do with your life, and like what kind of person you could be. Let me explain. Every single one of us are growing up in a certain household with a certain cultural setting in a certain country. And so you see, we are embracing all of these beliefs about everything about your self image, about how you're talking with people, how you're thinking about money, how you're thinking about health. And I'd like to here highlight money because this had been super interesting to me. So let's suppose that you're growing up in a poor household, and let's suppose you're growing up in a rich household. In a poor household, you've been told that money is scarce, that you're not able to make enough money, that the rich are greedy, that you just simply have to work hard to get money. If you have money, you have to save it up, etc., etc., etc. And so you start thinking about yourself, and you will develop the mindset, and you will think about yourself as, yeah, I can only buy this sort of foods, I cannot eat out at this place, that place is for the rich people, this place is for my type of people. I can drive this sort of car, I can only buy this sort of vacation, etc., etc. So you're basically putting yourself into this bracket of being middle class, lower class, upper middle class, rich, etc., etc., etc. Obviously, needless to say, when you're rich, basically you are thinking completely different way. You just simply do not think about money that way. You're thinking about opportunity cost. You are thinking about how expensive things are from your time's perspective. Like, how can I outsource things, how can I build up systems, and how can I just become a better manager with people, with systems, and just how can I learn business, how can I use stuff instead of grinding, how can I make stuff grind for me, like how can I build up leverage. But this is not a talk about just money. This is a talk about mindset. So therefore, what you have to understand from this very concept is that we are coming up with mental maps. And so what is a map? Let's suppose that you are in London. Let's imagine for a while, let's imagine London. Like, how is London? All the streets, all the weather, how the air smells like, if there are any musicians on the street, what is happening, like some robbery are happening, some accidents are happening, some interesting things are happening. Like, just think about London. This is a huge complex something, the whole London. And so what we do, we are basically grabbing one single piece, what we want to find a solution for, let's suppose navigation. And so we are creating a map. So a map is created for one single purpose. Basically, we are creating an abstraction, which means that we are basically grabbing one tiny thing of an event, and we are just basically crafting an abstract of that. So we are just crafting a momentary picture of that. So let's suppose that you can imagine London as it is, as this whole super complex something, this huge city. And so now, if you want to do only navigation, you are creating an oversimplified version of that, which will be the map. And so the map is obviously oversimplified, but it has a very good applicability, namely that you can use it for navigation. You see, because if you'd have a map, containing everything what is happening in London, you wouldn't be able to navigate because it would be just too freaking complex. And the same holds true for our minds too. And this is how our subconscious mind works. This is how we are building up habits. Let me explain. What is a habit? A habit, basically a system that your mind builds up in order to free up mental space every single time. So what is happening? Let's suppose that you are learning how to tie your shoes. Just imagine if you'd have to learn how to tie your shoes every single time. It wouldn't work, because this is just needless to say, and just needs us to brag about this too much. But man, you are learning and building up systems every single time. So let's suppose that now you learned how to tie your shoes. Now you do not have to think about it. So you've been able to free up more mental space, and now you have a solution for that very problem, what your brain automatically applies for that very problem. The same holds true for complex problems. The same holds true not only for mechanical problems, for just such as, playing the piano, or just being able to tie your shoes, or writing and talking, etc., etc. But this holds true for more complex situations, obviously, too. For example, mental images. And this is how our brain works, like your self-identity, like how you are identifying yourself is also a program, is also like a habit, how you're thinking about certain stuff. And if you are fortunate enough to meditate enough, then you will truly open up the gates to understand this true depth of how our mental habits are. Because a mental habit is in such a way, such as, tying your shoes. This is the same habit. For example, you see that person. Let's suppose that you are going to your workplace. You see that person. You become fearful, or you become angry. This will create an emotional reaction to you. Those emotional reactions will evoke some thoughts inside yourself. I'm having a shitty day. I do not like myself, and you start fearing, and this fear creates more of those thoughts. Because, again, I was talking about this earlier, but your thoughts are basically just the creation of your emotion, and your state of being at that place is basically just the byproduct. And so basically you're responding for those thoughts, and you create back the emotions and your life space. And so if you would like to come back again to the rich and poor, the wealth example, because this is the topic I am a bit more experienced with, is you will put yourself in a basket. You would just basically build up an identity for yourself. For example, let's suppose that, coming back to this again, I'm a rich person, like I can do this, I can do that. But obviously it's more lucrative to look at the poor example. I'm a poor person. I can only buy this car. I can only do this sort of events. I can only eat out 2 times a week because I do not have this amount of money. I have to behave this way. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm only just this type of person. And you see, you are basically having this oversimplified habit which is running inside your head most of the time unconsciously. I'm 99.999% I'm sure that it's unconscious, and this is how you're creating your reality. Because guess what? Like, go ahead and listen to the talks of a rich person, and listen to the talk of a poor person. A poor person will talk about, I do not have enough money. I'm not that kind of person. We cannot afford that. A rich person will talk about, we'll start this project, we'll start that project. This will be the cost. Here is how we will be financing this. I do not have the money for that with myself, but I can figure out how to finance this. Like, money is a tool for the rich person. It's definitely not a means of being anyhow, just like limited in any sort. This is just a tool. Money is just a tool. And so what I want you to take from this is that what you are holding inside your head, all these mental maps, this is the workings of your mind, and we are thinking in a super duper limited way. Let me tell you a very, very personal experience. So way before I started this business, I got into dropshipping. And so basically what I did, I was, just how this business works is just you are going ahead and testing products shipped from China with Facebook ads, and like you see like if a product works and you can create a profit with that or not. And so for a long while, I just simply, I tried a few stores and it didn't work out. And after a while, I tried it again and again and again, and after a while, one worked. And again, after that, it just didn't work. It just didn't work out for me. So in my head, I basically created the mental image that dropshipping is not for me. And so maybe it was because I was not lucky. Maybe it is that maybe I have some sort of truth inside it. But the point is, this is my mental map. But this works. This obviously works. Dropshipping works. Dropshipping with Facebook ads works. For a lot of people, they made a lot of fucking money. But this is my reality, you know, like I stopped at this belief and I put this belief into myself, and I was like, yeah, okay, I need to stop this. Which was again a bit wiser strategy, because now what I'm doing is just basically putting in way less ad money, and I'm just again I'm kind of like drop servicing, which makes me like ridiculous return on ad spend, like more than 15%. Never mind, this is not a business talk here, but the point what I want to say is that I got this mental bracket. Okay, dropshipping doesn't work for me. The same thing holds true when you're, let's suppose, fat. Yeah, I'm fat, you know, gym doesn't work. I went to the gym for a week and I didn't lose any weight. You know, gym doesn't work for me. And you're putting this into this mental bracket. Yeah, you know, and you're creating this mental map. And this is why you have to be super duper cautious with it, because you are creating all these mental maps and all these mental habits from very limited understanding. You do not understand how the world works. You do not understand all the opportunities out there. If you would like to still stay with the wealth example, then there are people who made $10 million worth of deals today. How on earth is this possible? How on earth you are not able to make these deals? Because you just simply do not understand it. You just simply do not have, you know, enough understanding about the world and enough a broad enough mental map. The same holds true that, you know, there were scientists today who basically figured out some very serious shit. You know, like there have been startuppers today who started a startup. They have been people who ran a marathon today. There have been people who've done all of these extraordinary things. There have been people who, you know, broke through with something. And I do not necessarily want to think about achievement point of view, but this is the place where we can truly see that human potential is limitless, and we are basically putting ourselves into these little boxes, and we say about ourselves that, yeah, you know, I'm a fat person. Yeah, you know, I'm only making this amount of money. I can only do this sort of things. And this is how you are freaking limiting yourself, man. And you do not understand that you are limiting yourself, and you do not understand that you are putting yourself into this super duper vulnerable position, because you are identifying yourself with your thoughts and your identities, which is not true. And this is not only your opportunity as a human being to be able to consciously choose what you are believing in or what you're not believing in, but this is your responsibility to consciously choose what you are believing or what you're not believing in. Because again, just my personal story. 2 months ago, I was struggling to figure out how to make money. Now I'm making 10K a month. Maybe it will be even more. This is just a mindset shift. Of course, I've been grinding, like that. Don't get me wrong, like I've been grinding with online business and hustling with this shit for like 4 years. So like, just don't get me wrong, I was like this, but the whole idea was like this. You understand me? Like the whole idea was super revolutionary, and it didn't require any like too many effort. It was just like I had to say that, yeah, you know, I'm able to make this amount, and now I'm able to make this. Like this is happening all around me. The same holds true for my body. Like I was a fat fuck, as Joe Rogan says. I love this. And so I went to the gym, and I was like, yeah, you know, I will end this shit. And now I'm at like super low body fat percentage. I think below 10%. Definitely not to brag, but to tell you a personal experience, and for you to be able to understand that this is your freaking responsibility to create your reality your way. And you have to understand that you have to understand the limitations of being a human. And we are in this all together. And I'm just telling you this objectively, that you have to understand the limitations of being a human, and you have to use it. You have to use your body, you have to use your mind, and you have to understand that you're limitless, and you have to understand that you are not equal with your thoughts and belief systems, and you can change them up like this. And it's not easy, but everyone can do that. And I'm encouraging you to do so, period.